both very celebrated by this community. Both have fantastic results. Both have had lots of success in the past, but which one of these two players is going to go ahead in our asymmetrical bracket? Let's take a look at those prize cards, Emily.
Nothing too crazy in there. I do just want to point out the version that Cal is playing of this End Zoroark EX. It is playing the one copy of Mega Absol EX, and the ace spec there is going to be Hero's Cape. I'm excited to see, but it is Julius's turn first, going first, and as a Dragapult player, you love nothing more than to open with a Buddy Buddy Poffin, especially with that Badoo in the active, right? Don't have to attach to that Badoo to get it out of the active. It does have free retreat, so we actually have a pretty nice setup here. Now, on Julius's side, I do see that copy of Dusk Noir prize, not exactly what we want to see, and only one copy of that Dracloak and Latias as well. The thing is, though, that copy of Professor Turo's Scenario, one of in the deck, is prized here, so I'm excited to see how Julius is going to be playing around that.
Badoo, one of the most fearsome grass types in our meta. Badoo, 30 HP doesn't bother Badoo. Badoo, Itchy Pollen does 10 damage and means that your opponent cannot play item cards on their next turn. Badoo is a Pokemon I have not been able to announce this entire weekend thus far, and I'm gloriously doing it now just to cover the basis and bring back his majesty to our stage. I'm a fan of Badoo. Oh yes, I am.
See the Luminous Energy attachment here, and I do see the Jamming Tower in hand as well. I think Zoroarks have kind of moved away from the TM Evolution line, but still, I mean, you love nothing more than, once again, to see a Buddy Buddy Poffin on your side as well. Going on over into Cal's prizes, Pecharunt EX is prized. That could be pretty useful for later on if we had some sort of stall method out there, but still, End Zoroark, we know what it's good for. We know that trade is amazing. Discard one, draw two, and especially when you have multiple of them you're seeing per turn here. But also with the Yveltal as well, our new favorite kind of clutch Pokemon that keeps you stalling in the active, waiting for your chance to go. Now, once again, we do have Julius prizing the one copy of Professor Turo's Scenario. Watch out for that. That could come into play a little bit later.
It very much could. But now for Cal, they're just doing some prize checking. So if you're new here, all that means is that Cal is trying to currently work out which cards from his deck are in his prize cards so that he can strategize correctly, sequence well, and know exactly what he's playing towards. We don't want to be playing a Buddy Buddy Poffin and not having any Pokemon to grab with it and things like that. So all he's doing right now is having a little look after receiving two Zoroark from the deck to the bench. Zoroark is not only a great attacker, but it's a great support Pokemon too.
This one's going to be so interesting because I'm looking at Cal's list right now, and there's a lot of one-of supporters here, right? The one-of Penny does make sense because we are playing Mega Absol EX, right? Once it takes so much damage, especially from a couple of Phantom Dives, right? We want to protect it as much as possible. Reprise liability, not that great. Penny makes sense here. Playing one copy of the Janine's Secret Art as well, just a way to poison and attach that energy acceleration just in case if things go wrong. One copy, Amy, of Eri, though. Ooh. So once the hand is getting a little bit too big, we can absolutely discard some of those item cards, get a choice of two, actually. That could be pretty helpful when sometimes you slam down Eri into an unsuspecting secret box. But here in this deck, Julius's ace spec obviously going to be that Neo Upper Energy.
Of course, so won't be affected by Eri. But for now, we're back over to Cal, and looking like we've gone for the Ends Reshiram, which is obviously one of the kind of fuel to the fire that we need to add to Zoroark. Zoroark's attack copies the attack of an Ends Pokemon on the bench. It's very reminiscent of Mew VMAX in that respect. So we need an Ends Pokemon on the bench if we want to be effectively attacking with Zoroark. And of course, we've gone for the Monkey Dory with its fantastic Adrenabrain ability to be flinging damage back at Julius, including probably the 10 damage this Badoo might inflict in a moment. Oh, 20 because of weakness.
Not liking the hand, though, Amy, as we go on back to Julius's turn here. I see a couple of boss's orders, but I don't see a Dracloak, and that is the biggest thing.
Goodness.
And here we go. Here comes that Ends Reshiram coming up into the active here. Not what you want to see, but more importantly, we do have Itchy Pollen here. No item cards for Cal, but it does not matter when you have three Zoroarks in hand, apparently. So while, yes, you can't use items, but you can still use those trades. That's pretty good.
It's pretty good, and we can also be trying to get towards an air balloon here. Now, I imagine this was a tactic to attempt to stop Cal from being able to attack this turn, do anything effective. Kind of, Julius hasn't had the opportunity to get set up yet, needs more time, and Cal's going to be drawing these cards hoping for an air balloon, but there is only one in the deck, so it might be tough to get there. So we've gone for Eri.
Going a little early here. Cal's gonna get the vision that he wants here, as he sees. I mean, not much to really work with, right? No rare candies coming into Dragapult anymore, so something like a rare candy Dragapult EX into a Jet Headbutt, not even possible on the table right now. So there goes that Eri. Do also play a Palpat, so we could use it for a little bit later here, but I think Cal has the information he wants, he needs. He's just gonna pass. But what a top deck, Amy, right into that Lily's Determination. We know we're gonna use it this turn.
Could not ask for more. Cal just learned Julius's entire hand, thinking, oh yeah, I've got some time. I'm gonna pass because I don't don't need to rush. Julius is not having a good time with that hand. Julius top decks possibly what I might regard as the perfect card to get out of this scenario, drawing 8 with lilies due to the fact that he has 6 prize cards remaining. Cal now doesn't have any information other than what was shuffled into the deck, and Julius now has a fresh hand to start going much faster into the direction of getting some Dragapults on the board.
The thing is, though, we didn't draw into any direct cloak, so we are going to have to discard with this Ultra Ball here to start getting ourselves moving here. Granted, I mean, I see getting rid of a Dragapult. We do play recovery, of course. We played 2 Night Stretchers, so if and when it's time to re-evolve into that Dragapult's really not that big of a deal. We can get into 2 Dracloaks this turn, but we could also start to try and set up at least a little bit of our Dusk Noir line. Now, granted, once again, that Dusk Noir is at the top of the prizes. Not going to see it too often here, so we might just want to keep seeing the deck. But honestly, I'm not a big fan of the Lily's determination on what it gave us, at least. It's forcing us to discard some of the things that we need.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but at least we get a Dracloak online. It certainly wasn't happening with the previous hand. So this gives Julius almost just as much draw power as Cal, except with the little caveat of Recon Directive makes you put 1 card in your hand and the other to the bottom of the deck. It looks like we're eyeing up the Ultra Ball. We don't really want the Dragapult. I honestly think we take the Ultra Ball here. We use the Ultra Ball to get another Dracloak. We try again with that Recon Directive.
Yeah, and you're right, Amy, as it will be Dragapult coming back down into the bottom of the deck here, as we are going to play that Ultra Ball. The thing is, we're starting to kind of thin down cards that we actually need, right? We don't really want to get rid of that Monkey Dory either, right? That's a key part of this deck and about the damage counters here. So it will be the Ultra Ball discard once more for what I assume is going to be another Dracloak. We still want to see more of this deck here, but still, I mean, Julius did keep Lily's Determination in hand. I'm assuming that's going to kind of be one of our options, but did also keep the Iono in hand as well. If Cal is going to have a crazy next turn, we can Iono things away.
I think that's the thing. Julius plays a lot of Iono. There's 4 total in the deck, and he kind of needs it in this scenario because Cal's going to draw a lot of cards, and if you don't stop him, he's going to have his whole deck in his hand in no time.
Ooh, okay. Fire Energy Counter Catcher. It is going to be the Fire Energy here. We can actually split the energy on to both of our Dracloaks here, just leaving it possible here, and it will just be the choice. Do have Luminous Energy in hand as well, but of course it is just going to be Budew doing Itchy Pollen once more here as Cal now back on over to him. We'll see how he's going to trade away these pieces because this ends Reshiram is stuck.
So a reminder, Calvin cannot play any item cards this turn, so we're going for our first trade. We can draw lots of cards, but we can't play any items, and that might just be what Julius needs to slow him down. Second Monkey Dory hits the board, and a Lily's Determination could really shake things up.
This one's going to be interesting. We'll see if Cal's Lily's Determination gets a little bit more energy on the board here too, right? We have to be very mindful. Now, here's the thing with Petron EX being prized, Amy, is that was kind of the key piece that allows for you to kind of maneuver all of your Dark-type Pokemon into the active, things not getting stuck. Now Cal actually has to draw into this Air Balloon, which is a lot tougher here. Tools not locked by item lock as well here. Very important note too. So we'll see what these 8 cards once again give us here.
Let's see.
See how this one's going to go.
So many cards.
One more too much, Cal. Yeah,
there we go. That's why it's really great to lay them out on the table. If it just gives you that like insurance policy of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, oopsie. Put that back. No one saw it. It's okay. Okay, we're trading away a Buddy Puffin. Didn't quite see what we needed. We've got a Cleffer and something else there I couldn't quite see. But that Petrofront being priced is such a thorn in the side. We've got a Mochi. We can increase our damage output. We did get 1 energy. We can start to throw damage back at Budew, but 2 isn't quite enough. And the pesky Budew survives still on 10 HP. So Cal's decided to bank that for later and pass over to Julius.
The cards are giving us Lily's Determination, Amy. We do have a Monkey Dory we can bench down. Julius really thinking about that one here, but we can see another 8 cards. And once again, Lily's Determination, the strongest supporter, I would say, coming out of Mega Evolution. Of course, 100%. You still have Lieutenant Surge's Bargain and Acerola's Mischief. But the fact that we get to recycle the deck, I think a lot of players have kind of thrown out their professor's researches and just added in Lily's, right? You're able to see almost the same amount of cards, right? What's 1 off of 6 or 7 here, when you could see 8, right? And you don't have to discard everything to unstick your hand. It's a very, very powerful supporter card here. So once again, 8 cards here coming down for Julius. We have the Neil Upper Energy as well. And we have a Duskull that's also massive. Draws into the Hawlucha, but you don't need it just yet. There's no Zoruas down on the board, but still, that's a better hand here. The question is, do we want to start going and attacking now?
The nice thing about the Hawlucha is it also fixes the mathematics a little bit on the Zoroarks being 280 HP, helps towards being able to put fewer damage counters via Monkey Dory on there to get it to a clean sort of 200 for Dragapult, and then using the excess damage counters on the bench to kind of take a bit more of a clean sweep like we saw yesterday.
Very fair here. First recon directive, really thinking about the hand here. I do think holding the Dusclops should be okay, but instead, no, we're going to prioritize setup. Completely fine here. Do have that Duskull in hand. Either way, though, we do have access to a Dragapult EX this turn, and like we talked about, it is really important to start setting things up. Now, Cal has done a really good job of also getting his Monkey Dory ready to go, and of course, once again, we're looking for that acceleration, and if this Badoo, once again, does another Itchy Pollen, we're not going to be able to see something like an energy switch into a Janine's and getting all of that extra energy onto the board here. It might just be better to just, you know, Itchy Pollen again. It's really hard to say.
It is hard to say. I think the Monkey Dory kind of puts you off a little bit because you know that that's coming back at your Badoo potentially, and that just kind of sets the pace of the game. Cal's definitely going to get at least 2 prize cards in a turn that way. So I feel like this is the point where Julius now might consider going a little bit more aggressive. I think we can definitely get a Dragapult online. We're 10 damage away though from being able to sort of do any sort of fancy boss maneuvers on that Reshiram yet. We're a couple of damage out in each way, but I think honestly, I just don't know whether it's worth taking a single prize Pokemon for Julius right now. We are going for the Itchy Pollen, and over to Cal's turn.
It is also pretty important to kind of talk about Reshiram and the way that Powerful Rage also does work. And while, yes, you can absolutely hit into a Zoroark for 200, the way that Zoroark's actually going to deal that damage back out to you here, but it is going to be that Janine's secret art that does come down. You can attach energy, and if you attach energy into the active, that Pokemon becomes poison. But still, regardless, if it goes onto the bench, you're A-okay. This is a really great acceleration card. We really love to see it, but it has to be onto the Dark-type Pokemon. It can't be onto Monkey Dory. Monkey Dory, Psychic type.
Absolutely, we can't be doing that. Janine only helps out those sneaky dark types, but a really interesting card because some might think, oh, but I have to use my supporter. Is it powerful enough? Well, in this instance, absolutely, because Zoroark only needs 2 energy to attack.
Draws into the air balloon, I believe, Amy, so we could be starting to go here, but it is going to be the first Monkey Dory using that Adrenabrain to take out the Badoo here, and now Cal is on the way of potentially getting another prize card and going up 2.
I love this sequencing because you're not revealing that you got the air balloon to your opponent. So now Julius might promote something that can be knocked out by a Zoroark that is more damaging to his play, thinking that maybe Cal still is stuck in that active position. But you have a Duskull, which I think is actually a great decision.
There's that air balloon once more here, and the attach return onto end Zoroark EX here. Then Cal is finally going to be able to use Night Joker for this turn here as the attack. We'll see what the trade gives us, another energy, but honestly, the biggest find is the air balloon, Amy, as we are going to be using Night Joker to copy our Virtuous Flame, and we will be doing that 170 damage, taking that Duskull out. Cal Connor goes up 2 prize cards.
Yeah, 2 prizes, 1 turn, 2 single prize Pokemon, but that's no sweat when we've got no damage on the board on Cal's side. Now, thanks to Monkey Dory, we take the final Zoroark from the prize cards and on to Julius to try and put some pressure on and bring this back. Dragapult only does 200 damage to the active Pokemon, which is not enough for Zoroark. We're going to need to have some shenanigans go on to achieve that HP total in the end, which could be a little tricky. Now Julius is on the back foot.
It's going to be interesting here. I mean, we do have Boss's Orders, Dragapult EX as well. We could start, you know, stacking that damage up, maybe even potentially taking out the ends Reshiram.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
We really want to go for it. But the problem is, it's just looking a little odd. The Recon Directive, though, is going to be a choice between Night Stretcher and Pheasantipity here. We might just want to reestablish here. We want to start getting our combo pieces off because, once again, we really don't want to be hitting into our end Zoroark EX because Powerful Rage is just going to send all of that damage and then some, if it's poisoned, right back at us.
Precisely. Unfortunately, kind of adds fuel to Zoroark's fire, right? But in this instance, you're right, Emily, we're just re-establishing the board. We're using Night Stretcher to get that Duskull back because we're going to need to be taking 1-hit knockouts. We're going to have to do 1-hit KOs on the Zoroark and the... Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Boss's Orders for the Monkey Dory. That'll be a clean knockout on the Monkey Dory. Where are we going to go with the damage to the bench? It is mandatory. We can't get around it. Now, I imagine it's not going on a Zoroark. So do we go Reshiram or do we go Monkey Dory?
I think we could actually go Zoroark.
Maybe.
It's just going to be very light, right? We don't want to just stack so much, and that's why the Boss's Orders play here is really smart, right? We'll take a single prize, which technically we're still behind, right? But we're not stacking up all of that damage onto a Zoroark where Powerful Rage is going to be applied here. So it is going to be this 5 damage counters potentially going down on Monkey Dory here. And I think one thing to note is that when people kind of look at the Pokemon trading card game, people love to prioritize what we like to call a 2-2-2 prize map, right? Where they say to themselves, you know what, I just want 2 prizes, I want 2 prizes, I want 2 prizes. But honestly, one of the biggest Pokemon that makes that thing happen is actually Munkidori.
100%.
So taking out the Munkidori here is the correct play. We're going to head back on over into Cal's turn here. We'll see what he's got up his sleeve here. Got another Dark Energy here, so we will be able to at least send some of that damage back here. But the question is, Amy, where does it even go?
I honestly, I'm not sure at this point, but going for the Dracloak, I love this play. It's limiting Julius's card draw for the rest of the game. None of his other Pokemon can help him draw cards. So if we've got no supporters in hand, and we burnt through a lot of draw supporters, we had to discard some, we used some. Love this idea of taking out the Dracloak, taking a slow and steady approach, and Cal is just trying to get the upper hand on his opponent, especially where Dragapult is a big fan of taking lots of prize cards in one go.
Gotta watch the deck though, Amy. As great of a trade ability as it is, you really do kind of siphon through your deck very, very quickly, right? So you gotta watch a little bit here. Going to trade away that Yveltal here as well. So we're gonna still, once again, see more and more options here. Cal might go for, I mean, he already played the boss here, but my question is, we're gonna be moving the damage counters right onto that Dracloak. Instead of just keeping the damage counters on the board or a way that Julius can actually fling the damage counters back, we're actually just gonna try and get rid of them as much as possible here. Very smart from Cal.
It's a pseudo healing method, really, isn't it? You've healed your Pokemon. You don't have to worry about that being sent back. Munkidori is a Munkidori counter at the end of the day. We can just fling the damage back and forth forever. So instead, getting it out of play entirely is really clever. We're back onto Julius's turn now. We've got to try and reestablish the board. Again, Emily.
Yeah, not exactly what we want to see here either, right? Has a Professor Turo scenario considering too as it goes to the front of the hand. Do have Hawlucha. We have another boss's orders.
Yeah.
We can get something started here, but honestly, we're starting to get into that point where we're really wishing we had Dusknoir, right? I believe that En's Reshiram does have 130 hit points as well, so we could go on ahead and Curse Blast that, and then we have a little bit of an easier time here. But unfortunately, there's one copy of Dusknoir, and it's at the top of the prizes. Not seeing it just yet. Has the counter catcher though, also considering that, because Julius does have 5 prizes compared to Cal's 3 here, so we'll see how exactly it is going to be played. But I think once again, this is just the smarter move, right? You take the battery out of the deck, and then while yes, you still have attackers, right? The damage counters are such a big thing here.
Yeah, you can't allow that Munkidori to keep kind of causing monkey business in the background and just continuously put the pressure on with its braininess and that Adrenabrain ability. Unfortunately, you've got to deal with kind of those problems that may not seem glaring, but actually are adding all of that energy to the deck and the fuel that it provides. Knocking out that Munkidori, going straight into Cal's turn now, and we have loads of cards in hand, lots of flexibility, but what's the right play to keep Cal on top here?
It's probably just, once again, maneuvering around what's on the board here, right? I would say the boss's orders, again, to Munkidori. It just feels like we're just picking on the Munkidoris in this game. But that is technically the right way to go about it, right? We know from Powerful Rage, the more damage that a Zoroark has on it, it's not exactly the best here. And to be quite honest, also, I mean, 170 isn't really doing enough to knock out a Dragapult EX here. Cal's deck looking very, very low here. It's either a way that we can replenish the deck, but we're going to have to Iona within either this turn or the next turn.
True, true. Now, I suppose that's why we've got so many one-of cards in the deck, right? It's okay to have one of lots of things. If you're drawing the entire deck throughout the game quite quickly, like we've still got 3 and 4 prize cards left to go, and a very low deck indeed, like you say, Emily.
Artisan going to come down here as well. Definitely don't want to Iona ourselves into it here. We have a ton of cards though, Amy. Super Rod here is another way to replenish. I mean, Super Rod is definitely another way to replenish the deck. And thanks to Cal placing down Artisan, we are able to go on ahead and re-grab this Munkidori here. In regards to Cal's recovery options though, 2 Super Rods in the list as well. So I do believe we have another one to go here. But yes, it is going to be Artisan for that Munkidori. Feels pretty good.
And a Nest Ball for the other. So both are on board. Back already. These one went out and 2 came back. Yeah. It was a very succinct, flawless energy attachment to the Munkidori, and then bossing the Munkidori. How many times have I said Munkidori today?
It's true. Nothing is actually about our attacking Pokemon. No. They're set up and ready to go, right? But once again, it's putting us all back to kind of this point that we have in the meta, and what has been now for quite some time of Munkidori is the issue, right? You see something like a Gardevoir EX kind of running rampant, right? What do? You take out the Munkidori.
Yeah.
You see Dragapult stacking up damage counters. What do?
Take out the Munkidori.
You take out the Munkidori. And if it's one thing that we're learning from the set, it's how key Munkidori is in all of this, right? The thing is, though, I need Cal to heal up this End Zoroark EX in the active, right? We do see from Julius there is a Hawlucha in hand, and we were talking about that a little bit earlier, and we want to make sure that we can protect the Zoroark as much as possible. I do not doubt that Cal also sees that line as well. He will probably heal up that Zoroark all the way to health again. He's probably just going to push it right back onto the dust. Yep, perfect.
There
and
we
2
go.
prizes right there. Cal not even letting me finish my words.
No, Cal's on it. Just absolutely putting the pressure on, saying, right, Julius, I have 1 prize card left. You have some single prizes there. Now the Dusclops Dust Noir engine can't be used at all. We are not going to be Cursed Blast. In fact, feels like that's a curse on Julius more than anything, as this single prize Pokemon shows Cal the key to success, shows that Cal has an easy Pokemon to knock out. And in fact, Julius takes that read straight away and picks it up to say, oh, you know what, I can't use this. Professor Turo's scenario, keeping Julius alive for a little bit longer. Is it going to be enough though, Emily?
I mean, Amy, I'm looking at the hand and I say to myself, what now, right?
Yeah.
Like what now?
Where do we go?
We have a lot of energy on Dragapult here. We are going to just Phantom Dive right away. We're going to
we're going to jet bet. That's just very clever, very, very clever. A low damage attack so that we're not getting stung by the Reshiram, which scales with how much damage the Zoroark has on it.
Yeah, but it is going to be the concession by Julius, and it will be Cal winning this first game, right? And it goes down to show, right, how important these setup turns are. Once again, a slower meta, a more methodical way that we're putting our bench together here. Cal going to take a very masterful game 1, and the way that he maneuvered his deck, and that's the big thing with Zoroark, right? It feels like these most impressive plays are when we have the least amount of deck to really work with, right? Understanding when's the right time to super rod here. We're going to check out the replay, but the Airy coming in here, once again, a big surprise, and showing what Cal's list is kind of tech to the format, right? There's nothing more satisfying than airying something like, for example, a secret box.
Honestly, and getting that hand knowledge was really clever. It was just a shame that Julius kind of took that and was like, you know what? Thank goodness I got that Lilies off the top deck. And we saw as the game went on, we were able to start the momentum by taking out 2 prize cards via Badoo and then knocking out this Duskull. Monkey Dory doing its thing and Zoroark coming up to follow. And really, Calvin did this really clever dance around Julius's Pokemon. Cal was never looking at that Dragapult as the target. That Dragapult could stick around. It's okay. It can't one-shot Cal's Pokemon. So Cal was able to do this beautiful dance around Julius's Pokemon, bring forward the Pokemon they needed at the right times, use 2 Monkey Dory to take out the Duskull, which was beautifully done, meaning Julius then could not at all manage any more Dusclops nonsense. It had to stay. You might as well Professor Turo and start again.
Yeah, if we learned something, it's patience is a virtuous flame, but not in this game, Amy. That is going to be prized here. Not exactly what you want to see, but you do have another in the deck as well, alongside another Yveltal. So we'll see how exactly Cal's going to be playing around that. Julius, of course, did mulligan here, so Cal does get an extra card. Now, I was looking at his hand a little bit. He does have another Zorua and an Zoroark here, but no other hardware that we can really work with, right? Not exactly our favorite thing here. So we got to see how Julius is going to be able to bring it back here as Cal just going to tap. We don't want to keep giving Zoroark some cards here. We'll see what the top 7 gives us.
I gotta say though, Cal's deck is really clever in the way that it works. And having these Pokemon in 2 orbs works really well. If you do prize 1 or both, you draw so many cards that in theory, it's fine. Let's have a look.
No.
I don't love those, Emily.
No, that's not great.
No, I really don't love those. The Ace Spec Neo Upper Energy being prized, a Badoo and a Dreepy and a Counter Catcher. It's really not great. We want some of those a lot earlier.
Well, the thing is, not only having the Neo Upper Energy prize, having 1 copy of Badoo prize, not that great either, but having a Dreepy prize as well, and a Buddy Buddy Poffin, right? And out to it too. Not exactly what you want to see here if you're Julius. We're going to go through that deck, and we're going to have that Rude Awakening, unfortunately, that we don't have everything we want. Now, granted, this board setup is a lot better than our game 1, right? But then again, brings the question around. We get this, and then what, right? We don't have an energy, I believe, to retreat into Badoo, so we just kind of have to let it kind of fly by the wayside here. And something that we have for you guys, Emma Hagen was able to defeat Nicolene and go up 2-0. I'm rooting for Emma, honestly, to win it all. She has worked insanely hard here, as we are still, once again, deciding what we're going to be able to see here on Julius's turn. But once again, no access to Badoo. That's a big trouble when it comes to this deck.
It is. It's going to allow Cal to have that kind of explosive start that he was unable to have last game because of Badoo. Ooh.
It was Lily's Determination. I couldn't see what card it was, but that feels good, right?
I was waiting to see if we shuffled our hand and put it to the bottom of the deck.
Very fair. But now that Ultra Ball also does make sense, right? Where we do want to prioritize getting another Dreepy rather than just getting the Badoo and hoping we draw into energy, right? I think that is the correct play here. Julius, though, once again, getting bailed out by this Lily's Determination feels real good. Cal is going to take the cut here. We'll see what 8 cards Julius is going to be able to draw into here. Ideally, a Badoo and an item lock here, just so Cal's not going to be able to get to it so easily here. I see a Hawlucha.
No, we're not there yet.
I see Blood Moon Ursaluna. What else do I see, Amy? I see a Dracloak for next turn. A Jamming Tower. And I'm not seeing not only a Badoo,
no energy.
And that's a big thing, right? Especially when your Ace Spec is prized, Amy, where you really need these 1 energy attaches per turn. This is where it starts to get a little bit scary here. Ultra Ball still being utilized, though. We can grab another Duskull if we'd like to, or we can potentially get that second cloak ready to go for next turn. I don't know if anything's going to go too wrong, especially when, I mean, Cal is not playing Ends Darmanitan, which a lot of Zoroark decks have actually taken out.
Yeah, this is a tough call. We're using the Ultra Ball. I don't know if we're deciding to get anything, because obviously that fourth Dreepy is...
Yeah, got the third Dreepy. That's all you can really ask for.
Yeah. I think that's what you've got to consider, is that actually card draw is king here, and we need to establish the draw cloaks as early as possible, and we're going to be relying on a supporter next turn to do so.
See what the draw is for Cal here. We knew that he doesn't have... Oh my goodness. Wow. All right, chill. It's still the... Oh my goodness. Also drew into the energy for turn as well. We could potentially see a Night Joker, but one thing, Amy, for sure, we are going to be seeing trade. We'll see Cal start to kind of siphon through this deck here. 2 cards, and unlike your cloak where you have to put one back, you just get 2 in the hand. Now, granted, once again, the whole point of Ends Zoroark EX is that you copy an Ends Pokemon. So that Artisan coming down is massive, because now we're able to actually grab Ends Reshiram here. We can actually get an attacker going, but still, my goodness, what a top deck here from Cal. His board is completely set up, and also an Iono to boot as well. Not great.
This is wild. That is that explosive start I was talking about. And in our top gut, we have Daniel Magda taking a 2-0 victory against the Zoroark deck we're currently seeing working to perfection. My word, there we go. One extra step up in the standings there. Cal's going ahead and popping down another Zoroark. Here's the Artisan, absolutely for that Ends Reshiram, which just really does run amok when it comes to Julius's deck.
Artisan too, just one of the best stadium cards that I think that we have in format, which allows for you not only to, of course, when you're playing these setup decks, not only grab the basic that you need, like a Dreepy or an Enzarua, right? But also grab your Duskull. Things like Monkey Dory can also be grabbed off of Artisan. And of course, the obvious choice here, which is Ends Reshiram, because we do need to copy something here, and I don't think, Amy, we want to copy Scratch Pretend on Zorua.
I'm going to go with a no. I think you're quite right. The possible interesting plays we could see from Julius here is trying to target down that Reshiram. The other one's in the prize cards. Cal does have recursion, but it's going to be harder to see with just sort of siphoning through the deck to try and get towards them. Might be able to buy a turn there, but honestly, looks like Cal is well and truly trading his way to the top and keeping a very strong board state, very much leading this game, putting the pressure on after a 1-0 victory thus far in our best of 3. Artisan, I love the way it's balanced. Your opponent being able to use your stadium as well means that Julius will be able to sort of thin the deck a little more, get another Duskull out. Maybe even it's time for a Badu. We do have the Luminous Energy in hand from Julius now, thankfully, after that Iono. So Julius might be able to start to make a comeback now, thanks to Cal's Iono and Artisan.
I like how Cal has the Pecharunt EX in hand, but doesn't want to bench it just yet, just in case something along the lines of, trying to mix up your opponent's play here. But while yes, this hand is better from Julius here, I think we are going to have to just attach a Luminous Energy to one of our Dreepy and Iono here and hope that we get into a Drip Cloak. We at least have a way out here. And we know after Cal, having such a strong hand, might as well just go for some Disrupt at this point here too. But the problem is, Amy, I don't see an attack coming this turn, period, point blank, right? We don't have a Dragapult. We don't really have the answer here. And this is my whole thing about how Dragapult has become a lot slower, right? We've taken out the rare candies, right? Once we're going down, we have to just accept that we're going to be going down here. But like we talked about, I mean, the Badu from the Artisan can be grabbed here. See how exactly it's going to play out. But that Monkey Dory definitely for sure wants to get onto the bench, especially with Cal, already starting to attack here and there.
Yeah, I think the Badu at this stage, Badu can be a good late game play, but I think right now it's a liability. I think when Cal has a Monkey Dory on the bench, there's too much potential there. 30 HP is just a little too scary. We got another top cut result for you guys. Thomas taking 2-0 again. Look, that's really similar to Emma's game, right?
Same exact matchup.
Same exact matchup and the same exact result there, really showing that Flareon and Leafeon and all of those lovely EVs are great into that Golden Go after all.
Yeah, I think it's a great counter pick. Once again, also utilizes Wellspring Ogerpon as well. So here we go, though. We do find a Dracloak off of the Iono here, and we do also have a counter catcher in hand if we'd like to continue to go down that route, maybe potentially counter catcher up the Ends Reshiram and try to, keep it there once more here. We'll see what the Recon Directive brings, though. It is the Hawlucha and the Dusk Noir. Not exactly what we want to see on both sides, but maybe, honestly, I like keeping the Hawlucha just in case here, but I have a feeling that Zorua is definitely going to grow up next turn.
Yeah, I think that's the risk, isn't it? And even if you decide to sort of use a Dusk Noir in this situation, it just doesn't help. The 50 damage isn't enough, Dusclops, because we can't get to the Dusk Noir, because again, no rare candy are in this build, and that really slows everything down. It's not just the Dragapult, it's this Dusk Noir engine as well, and Julius just doesn't have the velocity, the speed right now to bring it back into his core. He needs to try and force this game back into a position that is advantageous for himself, but it just feels like a massive uphill struggle.
This is probably the tougher choice here, right? Actually going to opt to get rid of the energy here, but once again, to direct you guys to the top cut here in the Charizard mirror, Hermione once again going to be making it in and having a back-to-back top 8 feels really good here, but still Hermione, you cannot count out the Charizard, but you also cannot count out that counter catcher play that we talked about a little bit earlier, forcing that Ends Reshiram back into the active here. We'll see if Cal can draw into this air balloon or that one copy of Professor Taro scenario.
Here we go, trading away Serrano, making sure that we're keeping going. Here we are. We've got so many options. Cal, okay, playing that Serrano. There it is now to go ahead and grab 2 more Zoroark and a Pecharunt. Boss's orders obviously brought Reshiram into the forefront. Can Cal find the air balloon to retreat it?
He has the Pecharunt now to do that just for himself, right? You can use subjugating chains to bring up the Zoroark into the active again. And this is what I was happy about Cal actually holding it and waiting to actually evolve here, just in case something like that were to happen. Sometimes it is more advantageous to have multiple Monkey Dories down rather than just one here, but still got an army of Zoroarks here on the bench here, but there's that Pecharunt using subjugating chains to bring Zoroark EX once again into the active here. It is going to be poisoned as well, and once again, like we talked about just a little bit, how important it is to keep track of that poison damage because Monkey Dory is just going to fling it right back at you.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. This just puts the pressure on tenfold. After not revealing the Pecharunt due to the prize card situation last game, Cal's at an advantage from being able to kind of make Julius waste resources in the way of using a boss's orders when maybe it wasn't advantageous to do so. Pecharunt now is a little bit kind of not so happy about the fact that Dragapult does 200 damage.
Fair.
So it is a little bit of a liability, but I think it's an important liability when we're talking about the fact that it serves multiple purposes. It's a good attacker late game, right? It actually has a really good attack that people really overlook. It does 60 times the amount of prize cards your opponent's taken, so it could be a good finisher.
Absolutely.
But also, it gives us those switching options when we have Dark-type Pokemon, and it poisons us, so we're damaging ourselves, which Monkey Dory loves. So it has sort of 3 uses, it's versatile, and I think that's what gives it its place in this deck.
Going to be the double boss's orders off of the recon directive. Real hard choice to make, but Amy, I'm not seeing too much work in the hand. I think if we don't find Dragapult DX this turn, we might just have to attach an energy onto one of the other Dracloaks because we just have to come to terms with the fact that it's probably not going to stick around much longer. You'd rather kind of keep your energy separate, not going onto the same Pokemon here, but here comes third Dracloak. Can we find something to help us here? Ultra Ball definitely does get us somewhere, right? But then it comes back to the question of the energy, right? Do we want to keep our energy split? We could potentially just Jet Headbutt the active, but we know that the Zoroark is poisoned here. We do know that Cal, from a lot of these trades, does play a Binding Mochi. Now, granted, it wouldn't take us up all the way, right? But we have to consider the Monkey Dory sitting on the bench so we can start sending damage back.
There's so much at play here. So many factors to consider for Julius that this becomes a really sticky situation. We've gone for the Dragapult. We've got the energy. Where does the next one go? And where are we sitting with damaging anything? Do we boss his orders? We haven't played a supporter yet, right?
We played Lily's Determination.
We did
to get
do
us
the Lilies.
into this hand, unfortunately.
Right, so we're going to have to wait. Oh, gosh, it just feels so bad. If we could have bossed here, it would have been lovely. But the amount of damage you deal, it feeds into Reshiram's game plan.
Yeah, and it is just going to be the Dragon Headbutt as well. Another line, Amy, that we could have seen if we had just drawn into the Dust Clouds. We could have popped Curse Blast and let the poison take care of the rest of the Zoroark as well. But unfortunately for Julius, just has to kind of come to terms with the fact that Jet Headbutt is the best play here to conserve the energy onto the board. Once again, Neo Upper Energy is prized here, so we have to play extra careful. Back on over into Cal's turn. We'll see how exactly he wants to play out this turn. Do have a Janine's there as the supporter, and we will be playing it, I guess, to accelerate some more cards, especially because if the dark energies go to Pokemon on the bench, of course, you don't get poisoned here. But I'm assuming Cal does have an energy switch in hand, so we can energy switch one of these dark energies onto the Monkey Dory here, so we can start sending some of this damage back. Now, granted, once again, putting down this Pecharunt EX means that we don't get the double Monkey Dory battery that we had a little bit earlier. So this Duskull is going to potentially stay kind of here on this turn, but is it going to be a repeat of last game where the Dragapult says, or, you know, the 2 main attackers here are like, I'm not really worried about you in my way. I'm worried about what's behind you.
And I think that's a key point, is being able to assess what the real threat is to yourself. Cal is very much making a statement, being this far ahead, having such an established board, kind of everything that Cal wants to be happening, right, is happening. And we're having those trades into just the right cards. We've got a Buddy Poffin, which we're trading away, of course, for 2 more cards. It's great when you have cards in your hand that you don't need. Your bench is full, and you're like, okay, great, trade. Trade 1 for 2. Here comes the energy switch, right onto the Monkey Dory, activating its Adreno
I was
Brain.
just about to talk about this, Amy.
Go on, tell me about it.
I saw, you know, the very nefarious pink card get drawn, this Hero's Cape here, the Ace spec, and I think we saw a little bit yesterday how we would like to Hero's Cape something like the Mega Absol, right, to give it a ton of health, right? But why not also do that to your end Zoroark in the active as well, right? Getting a plus 100 HP.
That's
definitely
wild.
feels really good, right? And this is the big thing with, you know, the math of Dragapult, right? Julia's had a great lineup to find another way to do something like, you know, going for the full Phantom Dive this turn and then taking the knockout. But now the Hero's Cape math actually, you know, doesn't really help us here. I do see a draw into Dusk Noir, but there's no candy in the list to jump a step here either. I think it might just have to be the Iono at this point, or once again, we're going to go into this boss type of line.
You know what? I like the Iono, and I'm going to tell you why I like the Iono. I like the Iono because there are 2 jamming towers which could turn off that cape.
True.
And if they turn off that cape, Julius could swing this back around yet. It could come back. So we need everything in our power to try and get this jamming tower to turn off the ability of the cape. The cape's shimmering shine and luster will falter because jamming tower says, no, excuse me. Back down where you go. That cape doesn't suit you.
Could it be counter catcher onto Petront this turn? At least get us back into the prize race here, or is it going to be back onto the Monkey Dory? But yes, it is going to be the Petront here. Still supporter to kind of save as well. Big thing here is that Zoroark EX has lost its poison, so not going to take too much more damage here. Still has the Hero's Cape, but as you alluded to, Amy, Jamming Tower is still very much looming in this list as well. But as you were talking about, when this Petront came down, right, it's 190 base point damage here, and then, I mean, Dragapult hits that for free. Now, granted, we are going to have to throw some damage counters around, which this does allow for Cal to put down a second Monkey Dory, but we got to get this Duskull evolved this turn. We did find the Dusclops here, but if we get a second Monkey Dory, that one's going to go for sure.
We got another Top Cut update for you. We've got Kaito taking the win against Jamie. Kaito piloting that coveted Absol with Mega Kangaskhan. Jamie's Jellicent build of God of War not quite stepping up to the mark there and falling to the darkness.
Ooh. Okay, interesting. It is going to be Julia's activating Curse Blast here. Does make sense, right? I mean, Dragapult can take a 3 prize turn here and at least even it up here. But once more, I am worried about this powerful Rage back onto the Dragapult here. See how the prize trade is going to work out, but why not just get rid of the Monkey Dory? Because once again, this is the battery here. Cal going to pull the Cyrano off of the prize cards here. We'll see how exactly the prizes are going to kind of fare out. But of course, when you use the Curse Blast, you're just trying to get to that number mark here, and it just makes the most amount of sense if it is going to be on the on the Monkey Dory, excuse me.
I'll tell you what, we just took off the prize cards, Emily.
Tell me.
A jamming tower.
Ooh.
So that cape isn't going to be as effective for very long. Will Cal kind of take the read and switch into the Zoroark on the bench at some point? Who knows? But for now, we've got this damaged Zoroark in the active and a cape that might not remain quite so effective. Now, interesting set of supporters in hand. Definitely kind of got lots of options with Lilies and Boss and Eri, but we've gone for the Eri, and Cal's gonna see the jamming tower.
And that's the information, right, that Eri gives you. Not only do you just get to get rid of the 2 item cards in hand, right, but now you actually get to see the hand. You know exactly what's coming, but unfortunately, Cal can't take that and then say, all right, well, I've seen your hand, now I'm going to Iono you out of it. Cal now has the information that he knows that this Hero's Cape is going to be turned off next turn. Very important to note out here, and especially if this Dragapult stays around. The Monkey Dory could very well, if we find the way to use the Jamming Tower, get a Luminous Energy attached onto it and take out the Zoroark right in the active here. Could be a couple different ways, but I think Cal has to find a way to attack with one of the other Zoroarks this turn, preferably the one with the energy already on it here, but I don't think without Petront we have a reliable switch out.
No, especially because we can't use the Air Balloon because of the cape kind of blocking that. We've only can attach one item, one tool card to our Pokemon. So we have the Air Balloon, but we can't put it on.
Artisan here, probably for another Monkey Dory, right? Makes the most amount of sense as we see the energy switch in hand. So we can go on ahead and take that energy off the Zoroark onto the bench and start moving the damage counters at least back, right? That would definitely alleviate some of the pain here of having the damage counters on to the Zoroark. Can we find a way to not only energy switch the energy on the one on the bench to the Monkey Dory, right? But find a way to find another Monkey Dory and then set up a second one, right? Because then we get to just get rid of all of this damage here, but we're going to put it onto Dracloak, I believe.
Yep,
yes, it is going on Dracloak. And then we'll see how exactly Cal wants to handle it. I mean, 170... fix my math, Amy, should be enough.
Yeah, that knocks out. And so Dragapult will be KO'd. Julius did have to discard the Night Stretcher due to the effect of the Eri. So it's not going to be as easy to procure a Dragapult back into play, but certainly not an impossibility. But Cal has made it quite difficult for Julius in this instance, as Julius will not be able to attach an energy to Monkey Dory, as well as the Dracloak, which is what would be necessary to take the knockout on this Zoroark.
This is big, right? I think what we need so far is a way to disrupt Cal's hand, because once again, Zoroark, you just have the entire deck in the hand. You're just waiting for it to go or find a way. Now, here's the thing, right? I don't think Julius knows that the Ends Reshiram would have an out to it thanks to the balloon there. But the problem is you also have that Monkey Dory set up as well, Amy. So we could still keep using Adrenabrain to keep getting some of these damage counters off, especially if we find a second one here. But it is going to be the Buddy Buddy Pop and taken off of the second Recon Directive here. We'll see how exactly we want to play this out. I'm hoping for some sort of Iono here at any point to try and just at least bring the hand back down, but it might just